Hello, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. I'm a spirit navigator. Today I'm going to be answering your questions that you put in my community page. Thank you so much for doing that. If you're new here, I'm channeling this 40% Susan, 60% spirit guides. And I do just want to say before I get started that they woke me up this morning. They've been waking me up every morning with sort of a message or whatever, basically just harassing me, if you ask me, because I haven't had coffee. And I don't know about you, but like people, even if they're not really human, talking to me before I've had coffee, probably not a good thing. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up that they, I think, to instill some humor in this humorless situation, they're making fun of my accent. Okay, I didn't think I had an accent. Y'all are probably laughing, but I didn't think I had an accent. I'm from Kentucky, right? But I've been living in Texas for, I stopped counting the years because, as I've said before, over a certain age, women don't count years, and those that would ask us to would be in mortal danger. So anyway, I don't know how long I've been in Texas, but long enough maybe to have an accent. So they are talking to me with an accent in my brain. So if I start talking with an accent, it's because of them. And I'm going to be mad because I'm not going to be able to edit it out. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to do everything I can to not talk with an accent. So anyway, let's get started. Thank you for your questions. This is what I have to deal with. I think I should unionize. I'm not kidding. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to just pop around your questions. There's like over 250 of them. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to answer all those. And I'm going to try to make this a short video and do multiple videos because ain't nobody got time for this, right? Like, we don't have time for our world to be burning down and for crazy tin pot dictators to be running our country. I did not schedule this on my Google Calendar. I don't have time for this. This is extra work the universe has given to me in my role. I didn't get a pay raise. Again, unionize. Telling you right now. Anyway, I'm going to calm down. I'm a little spicy. I'm a little quick to temper. Probably you are too. Anyway, some of y'all probably having Irish, Baileys in your coffee, and that's not a bad idea. Okay, pinup girl, why not? Says, are Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid all going to be safe? You guys, look, predicting stuff right now is like a little bit more difficult. Again, spiritual pay raise, not. But anyway, I don't see them being able to, what the guides are saying, they don't have. So I'm telling you, I don't know, maybe I got every once in a while they send a fresh guide in to take the other ones to R&R because, well, they've been through it, right? So maybe this is a new guide. But anyway, they just said to me, they, meaning the administration, doesn't have the cojones to take away or affect, the words they want to use exactly are affect Social Security and Medicare. Now, their goal is to terrorize us, is to get us to submit in advance, to feel so overwhelmed and anxious and whatever that if we just agree with the bully, that he'll be nice to us, right? Like we've talked about this a lot. We've talked about this for years in regards to 47 or F47, which I really like F47 because there's so many words that start with F that go with 47, right? So I think I'm going to adopt F47. But anyway, so this is the thing, shock and awe, right? Change our systems, move us all the way to the right so that when it's self-corrected, it's still far to the right. I don't see them being able to get to Social Security, Medicare. Of course, I've often said, and I still see them getting to like chip anything to do with children, unfortunately. I mean, really and truly, the welfare, like, I don't know, the guides just keep saying welfare, whatever welfare organizations there are. We know that these Republicans have actually, and this is also people like Kinzinger, when they show me the face and they don't give me the name and they know I'm spicy. So they really need to get it together right now. Anyway, Kinzinger has come out on social media not too long ago and said kids shouldn't get free lunches. What kind of monster is that? Like, he's a good looking guy, nice guy, whatever. But honestly, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So they're really going to attack these vulnerable, the guides are saying like the vulnerable underside of our society. And this is our opportunity as humans to say, no, no, no. If we have to create a fund at your local elementary school that you go once a week and you put your $5 in, and everybody puts their $5 in so that all the kids have their meals paid for, then that's what we'll do, because that's the lesson. The lesson, every single question that you guys ask me, the lesson is community. Find the like minded people in your community, band together and do the thing. And if you can't find like minded people in your community, and they are there, I've often told you about my experience when I went to a very red small town in Colorado and I spent a month there. And because I needed out of Texas and needed nature, but people said, well, you're going to get nature, but you're going to get a lot of red hats. So be careful. I'm at the dog park and I end up meeting one person who's a Democrat, and then all of a sudden, there's 5 of us, like, subversively meeting in the bushes with our dogs. They're everywhere. Yes, maybe 50,000 of those people were red hats, but there were 5 of us that were, and we found each other, right? So find your community, because that's where the power is. But the lesson is, even if it's you by yourself, go give $5 to whatever, the food pantry, the library, buy books at the library, just donate your time, your energy, your money, whatever you have. Okay, so I think Social Security, Medicare are going to be safe because it's the third rail. The guides just said it would hasten their demise. Okay, and here's another weird thing. Like, so I've had a weird life. I've had a lot of experiences, but whew, there was a long time. I was actually a medical photographer. If you don't know, I was a professional photographer for 22 years. But besides that, I was also a photojournalist and a medical photographer at different points. So anyway, I would just tell you I have some experiences. And one of the things the guides are saying is, an important thing about whether it's a dictator or a king or a virus, you don't want to kill the thing that's feeding you, right? Like, if your subjects are bringing in the tax dollars or out toiling in the fields, well, you don't want to kill them because that's your money, right? Viruses are the same thing. Successful, like the cold, it's successful because it doesn't kill its host. It gets to have a good time, party with you, and then move on to the next person. And you're still alive, so it can revisit you later, right? So to do this Social Security, Medicare thing would be touching the third rail. It would literally, it would end their power very quickly. So this is where you get into that power play of people like Peter Thiel and the Federalist Society. Until now, they've really tried to do that dance where they got power, but they let go power, but they got power, because the whole time they're moving everybody over to the right slowly. So you don't notice it. You don't notice the eventual movement of your country to right wing. But they put all their chips on red, so to speak, right now, or they put all their bets on this, because the universal energy has shifted and now we're going into Aquarius and the divine feminine is rising. And we happen to be in the energy of the French Revolution and the American Revolution and the American Civil War. And let's just say they got the memo and they're like, we need to smash and grab as much power as we can right now so that we can move all everything over to the right. So when the humans wake up and go, wait a minute, we don't want this, and they move us back, we're not going to go to the center because we're going to be too far to the right. We're going to go to the right of center, which is where they wanted to be all along. Okay, so I don't see them grabbing Social Security, Medicare. Will they try to scare you? Yes, that's the point, right? They're going to talk about it. They've been talking about privatizing Social Security since the 80s, since Reagan. They want their grubby money, they want their grubby hands and their grubby money on everything, right? They want to privatize everything, the military, the schools, the hospitals, the government. Everything should be a profit center for an oligarch. If you look at it like that, it all makes sense, right? Let's move on. Whitmeister says the question is about the horrific plane helicopter crash. Does it have anything to do with F-45 firing 400 FAA senior officials and TSA head and 3,000 air traffic controllers just 8 days ago? Well, yeah, it does. It really does. But I need to tell you a couple of things about this. And that is that there's some things wrong with this situation, okay? The helicopter had a special designation, which which makes it labeled as having a higher level than a service member on board. There's a special, like a P or something with the designation, and that just lets everybody know that has sort of like some sort of dignitary or somebody who's above a soldier. Okay, maybe that's an aide. I don't know. I'm just telling you, right now, something about this doesn't make sense. Now, that's one thing. The other thing is that this airspace is so crowded that even with all of the air traffic controllers that we used to have, and even with all of the senior officials we used to have, it was really an accident waiting to happen, the spirit guides are saying. So there's multiple things that can be true here all at the same time. Even in that 24 hours preceding this horrible crash, there was a plane that had to take evasive maneuvers, the spirit guides are saying, because a helicopter came in its space. So this was an accident waiting to happen. And of course, what F-47 has done is speeding up everything. It's speeding up everything so that we can break down or figure out, oh, wait a minute, we don't mind our taxes going to federal governmental agencies. And maybe we want those agencies to be public sourced and funded and not private sourced and funded because the public wants to have a say in it, right? Like that's where we are right now. This is part of that lesson, right? So, as far as like the other part that you could consider it to be a conspiracy theory, it is what it is. There's plenty of reasons to explain how the pilot of the helicopter could have been watching a different plane, but it I'm just telling you what I get. I could be wrong, but something doesn't add up here. And I think there's more happening than meets the eye. But, but truth comes with a heavy ownership or a heavy responsibility. And this is something I need to talk to you guys about because this has been the message, right, for a long time. And even with the election, um, we know the truth. I think I feel comfortable saying that a lot of us know the truth. And I would also say that the rest of America is not ready to know the truth. And it's akin to, and that's one of those words I want to use, and they're trying to slip some kind of Kentuckyisms in here, I swear to God. But anyway, it's akin to they want to always use metaphors so you can understand, right? Some of us are people that when we find out our spouse is an axe murderer, we're like, oh, I'm divorcing you, right? I didn't know you were an axe murderer. Some people are like, oh, you think he's an axe murderer, really? Is that what, really, he does sharpen axes, he does. Yeah, no, he does. Come on now, that's crazy talk. You know what I mean? Like they have the evidence right in front of them. Like, oh, this guy's got 30 axes and they're so sharp, and he goes outside and doesn't chop wood with them. And I don't know. I don't believe it, right? There's some of us that just cannot accept what's really in front of them. And I would say to you that you and I have been in that position before when we've been in a relationship, when our friends are like, hello, you're being taken advantage of, or hello, this person is cheating on you. And you're like, no, you're wrong, right? We've been in that position, right? We can all understand how sometimes the truth is so horrific, we can't accept it. And this is where America is with the crash, with the election, with the fact that perhaps our government has been taken over by a tin pot dictator, and that our media is just complicit. Like right before our eyes, so many things are being uncovered that are shocking us to our core, to our sense of stability, to our sense of safety. Wait a minute, these are institutions that I thought that I could just rely on. Like the sun comes up, the sun goes down. And now we're like, uh, maybe I can't rely on it. And if I can't rely on it, I don't feel safe. And if I don't feel safe, what do I do? Right? I mean, that gets you to a point where you start to question your entire existence. I mean, seriously, it's an existential crisis. And this is where America's at. Now, I will also say briefly, and this is, I probably talked about this before because I think on my channel, I talk about race pretty often. I would say to you guys, all you white people out there like me, that we don't know what it's like. We don't. And I'm telling you, you don't know. You can't know what you don't know, and you don't know what it's like to have an existential crisis where everything around you is unsafe. And you're never going to know that until now. This is white people's opportunity to be like, "Oh my God, we're freaking out. We're freaking out. Everything we thought was normal is unsafe. We feel very, very shaky and just unsafe in general." And I would just tell you that if you run to anybody who's not white and tell them that, they're going to look at you in a certain kind of way because this is how they live their life. This is how they were born. This is how they live every day of their life. Don't go to anybody who's not white and complain about how horrible everything is, because this horribleness is how they live. It's just that white people are getting to have a taste of this medicine. Okay? PSA over. I do want to pray. I do want to send prayers out to those people and the families that were lost. And I do think part of it is accidental, but I think part of it is not. And I think it's complicated. And I think the bottom line is that rather than get caught up in conspiracy theories, what we need to do is get caught up in taking action and really becoming a thorn in the side of our senators and our reps about public safety. And if you want to take it one step further, get in a thorn in the side of all of your airlines. Like if you fly a lot, you need to get on social media, get on Twitter. Notice that I called it Twitter, like I call it Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico. Okay. Anyway, get on social media and hashtag those airlines, because this is what we can do to make a difference. Because right now what's happening is the government overseeing of these corporations, be they in transportation or be they in food or whatever, is being gutted. And so what the guides told me was, in their fake Texas accent, was that what would this is really, really an amazing statement. What would a congressperson do if they knew no one was watching? What would a congressperson do if they weren't getting paid to do it by lobbyists or whatever? But the next question is, will corporations be able to self-police? If the government's not there to say, hey, you've got regulations, you've got to give this truck driver extra time off, you've got to make sure this pilot passes this drug test, you've got to be sure that these trains, that the tracks are maintained. That's a government regulation, which the Republicans hate. And this is what they want to do. They want to get rid of government regulation. Well, then that puts the onus, that puts the responsibility on the corporations. And here is where I made a mistake last year or not even last year, in the last several years. It was the Susan part of this combination was my mistake to think that corporations would stand up against F-40 at the time, F-45. The F still applies. Anyway, F-45, because he wrecked their stock prices. When he, in his first reign of terror, he would just get on and say something about some company like Boeing, and their stock prices would take. And I thought, oh, these corporations are never going to put up with this, right? The money is going to put the pressure on the Congress to impeach him or get rid of him because money rules. Okay. Well, that's true, right? I mean, we all know that in the end result at this point in our timeline, money is king. Money gets everything. We see that with Musk. But what I didn't realize was that these companies, these corporations are so used to paying off third world despots, dictators, authoritarian, whatever, to be able to operate in that country and have, like be the king, the supreme, the only company operating in that country because they pay for that, a la mob, right? This is where we are now. But what I didn't realize was these companies would be just as happy to pay F-47 by buying a watch that you're never going to receive, or by saying, in the case of CNN and media, saying, "Oh, we're sorry, we said something bad about you. Here's $25 million." That is money laundering. That is not CNN saying, and this is allegedly, not saying, uh, "We're sorry, we broke the law." That is a nice little way of CNN saying, "If we give you 25 million, will you leave us alone so we can just do whatever we want?" So the question is, will corporations step up and protect or do the right thing to protect their brand, to protect their money by taking care of business like the regulations would have them do? Or will they cut corners the way, what airline, what airplane company was it? Was it Boeing that left out all the screws and doors are falling off and stuff? So this is where we are, right? If we don't have government to protect us, because the government, theoretically before anyway, wasn't being paid off, and their role was to protect us because our VOTE is what kept everything in check. Well, now that's all out the window. So now what you can do, instead of saying, "Oh my God, it's all out the window and I don't have anything to do and I can't do anything and it's all screwed up and I give up," what you can do is you can start hashtagging, emailing, calling these corporations and saying, "I fly with you and I have concerns about your safety. And I'm just going to tell you that I don't need to fly with you," right? Because here's the thing, by the time the corporations and the media get the memo, because the memo's coming. The memo is that humans, not only Americans, but humans don't trust corporations, and especially if there's no regulations. So we're going to be choosing who we do business with more carefully. So if one airlines has a really good safety record because they're protecting their people, then we're going to fly with them and we're going to avoid everybody else like the plague. And the memo is that their stock is going to tank, because so what if you've got F-47 giving you money, giving you millions of dollars? You still need us. They keep forgetting, everybody keeps forgetting about the human component in this math equation, which is, if I don't spend the money, you don't get the money, right? So that's how you can take this situation and be powerful, as you can say to your grocery store, "Hey, I'm worried, I heard about this listeria outbreak, and I'm telling you right now that I don't like, that plus this, the listeria outbreak, and the fact that I don't like how your produce looks." Start being a thorn in their side. We are the squeaky wheel. We are the ones that are going to get the oil. But if we capitulate, if we give in, march over the cliff like sheeple, then we don't get it. We have to be the ones to turn this around with our voice, with our protest, with our post, our social media post, whatever it is. Okay, let's move on. And in your question, and a follow-up question from Bridget is, will F-47 have will he face any consequences? Yes, he will. Trust me when I say, because not only do blue people get on planes or eat food or get on trains or whatever, but so do red people. And the red people are waking up to the fact that, you know what? It turns out we need more regulation. You know, they thought they were voting for a guy who was a strong guy who was going to make more regulation. They thought they were voting for a guy who was going to make more laws, have more security. And instead, what they're seeing is a guy who pardoned all the people, the Jan Sixers, who are now out facing karma of a different sort, aren't they? Many Jan Sixers have been arrested very quickly after they got out because they went out and acted like a fool and broke the laws. So these red hats are realizing, man, we voted for chaos. This is not what we voted for. We didn't vote for this, right? So yes, they are. It's FAFO. It really is. F around and find out. And they are going to wake up and they are going to be some kind of mad. And it's the same thing I've always seen. And I've always told you guys, we're going to be in the streets. I'm going to bump a shoulder with somebody, and it's going to be somebody with a F-47, and I mean a F with the word F, um, shirt on, who was a MAGA and now is MAGA's worst nightmare. This is where we're coming. All this is breaking apart so that we can realize, oh, we really do need good teachers and not just to put somebody who has a ministry degree in a classroom, right? Like, what do the people want? What will the people choose, right? Okay, let's move on. He's going to pay the price for this, guys. He really is. Trust me, he really is. It's just a matter of how fast it all breaks down, what makes us mad enough. And I know we're already mad, but we know who we're talking about, the middle of America that doesn't tune in. At some point, their own cognitive dissonance, right? The guides are saying at some point they're going to be watching CNN and they're going to say, wait a minute, that that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's gonna get so ludicrous because CNN is being paid to say whatever. It's gonna get so ludicrous that it's gonna break their cognitive programming. They're gonna have a break, and they're gonna be like, "This is what is happening? This is a circus." Right? And I've always told you guys they're going to come to you and they're going to say, "Oh my God, this guy's a liar, a crook, a thief, and a adjudicated rapist, blah, blah, blah." And I've always told you to take a deep breath, count to 10 before you tell them it's your fault. You brought all this on, because that's not helpful, right? If somebody comes to you and says that, just say, "Welcome to the resistance. Here's your, badge. Get online and start talking to other MAGAs." You know what I mean? Like, recruit them, embolden them, cheer them on. Don't get mad at them. Cheer them on. We need them on our side. Let's see. Susie says, will France and or Germany prosecute Muskrat for the election interference, and will that have consequences for the US? Yes. Um, there's several timelines, you guys, that can happen. And all of it depends on, the guides are saying, who gets there first. Like, think of it as a race. Who gets there first? Who gets the maddest first? And it depends on, they're showing me if F-45 and F-47, if I'm just looking at the timeline. If he, and I know this sounds unlikely, but you know what? If he pulls back, if his handlers say, back up, or give him a coloring book and 55 hamburgers, you know what I mean? And I don't know, videos of himself. I don't know. And like, let him be busy for 48 hours and not wreck the world. In other words, if he can pull back, then he'll last longer. Back to the beginning of the video, where if you totally make your people mad, it's over. You've got to be able to keep them in the sweet spot of infuriated, empowered, infuriated, empowered. You've got to keep that going. It's a very delicate dance. And, it's like QAnon. They bring out the Q, right? And then it disappears. And then they bring it out and it disappears. This is all choreographed. However, you've got a madman 10-pot dictator who doesn't always do what he's supposed to do. He does what he wants to do. So if he does what he wants to do, number one. Number two, they're saying, and if these evil energies, which are manifesting through humans, if these evil humans realize we got to smash and grab, our time is running out, people are waking up, they pay more attention to us. They know what we're thinking. They watch the algorithms. They know the truth about how the American people are feeling, and they adjust what they're doing based on that. Okay. They know everything about us. We know that. It seems like these days, if you even think about something, they already know what your thoughts are. You don't even have to type in, I'm thinking about buying a new XYZ, and then you get all the ads for it. They know. They know what all of us are thinking and doing. They know where they can apply pressure, where they need to let off pressure to manipulate all of us. Okay. So it depends on those things, right? So if I do, let's take America out of the thing, because I'm telling you, America is a 10 fire alarm dumpster fire right now. If I take America out of this equation and I just look at Europe, or, yeah, I don't know, they want me to just look, no, they're saying Asia. Okay, if I just look at everything else besides the United States, or North America, if I just look at everything besides North America, there's justice. There's a real energy and desire to see the truth, to be able to ingest the truth, to be able to take the truth on without becoming paralyzed. And yeah, I'm hearing Truth Council, Truth Commission. This is something the guides have said before. And I do think that energy hastens what happens in America, because again, the powers that be are connected globally, and they see what's happening and they're like, okay, we need to, like, it's when the robber finally gives up looting the jewelry store and they run out the door. Like, they didn't get everything they wanted, but they decided the police were too close, so they ran out the door. This is the energy that I'm getting. I feel like also our timeline is speeding up, like everything is speeding up, like when you, like, I don't know, there's just, everything is getting faster, and there's a wall. And why you would speed up when you're heading toward a wall, I don't know, but we're speeding up, so we're going to hit that wall, I think, without putting on the brakes. What we just talked about was how F-47 could put on the brakes and switch the tracks and avoid the wall. You see what I'm saying? None of this is set in stone. But the way it looks like now is we have so much speed, meaning so many things have been done to break our system, and we're free. We don't have any brakes. The brakes have been removed. They removed them because they cost too much money. You know what I mean? Like, they outsourced it, and the new corporation decided we didn't need brakes. So, we don't need brakes. So we're heading towards this wall. And the wall is the awakening of, oh, people should be worth more than money. People are people, not corporations. The environment is important. Kids are important. Children are important. Nutrition, health, basic needs, welfare, the safety net, all these things are important. This is where we're going when a majority of people say, yeah, we're willing to pay more taxes. We're willing to make this sacrifice, whatever it is, for the betterment of everyone, because we're all in this together. That's the lesson. I know you guys keep asking for specific things, but they're going to talk about the lesson, because it all boils down to, if you want to know what's going to happen, it boils down to that. When the people have had enough, everything will change. But right now, we have school attacks and we don't get in the streets. We're not getting in the streets. So that means we're signing up for another lesson. We're not sending enough text and emails to corporations saying, I'm not buying your food. And here's, look at my community that I have 10,000 people on it, and none of us are going to buy your food, right? Until we really start taking citizen action and sending this message that no, the answer is no. When that happens, everything changes. Okay, these are some deep questions, and they're just, in my opinion, it's not yes or no. It's just not. Look, will you eat a donut today, Susan? That is not a yes or no question. That is a battle that I deal with every day. So, you know what I mean? Like, I can't answer some of these questions yes or no. Linda Bruce wants to know, will Trump end up calling martial law? He wants to. I said it before last year. The energy was Biden should do it. Trump wants to do it. See the difference? And why? Why does it need to happen? Well, because our governmental entities, but also our military has been infiltrated, and we need time to sort out who's on whose side. And will he do it? I can't guarantee he won't do it, but I'll say this. I mean, they're just showing me so many outcomes. He would have to have a reason. So the reason would be, as the guides just said, we all get in the streets. We all get in the streets, right? And what I think is going to happen is the MAGA is going to get in the streets, and we all know they're a screw short. So they get in the streets, and they're heavily got the pew pew armed. Uh, then 45 tries to call martial law. The problem that I see happening for him every single time is the states. We are a republic. The Republicans always want to remind us we're a republic. Yeah, we're a republic governed by a democracy, which is under attack. But anyway, the bottom line is that I just don't see certain cities capitulating to federal government, or certain states capitulating to the federal government. I think he's going to have a really hard time, even with his own red states, doing the things he wants to do. I think this is where they find out that the system of the republic actually is going to defeat them, because all these states have their own agendas. Even the red states have their own agendas. They're not necessarily going to just throw in with him. Now, Texas, apparently, yes. But will Louisiana, will, Missouri or Kansas? I don't think so. I don't think they're just going to co-sign everything he wants to do. Because for one thing, they're showing me, so you go into the farming states like Kansas, well, they're really hurting. They're going to start hurting, because if you're an illegal person here in the United States, frankly, you should just go home and take a little vacation until the United States comes to its senses. They truly, why risk being stuck in Guantanamo or something? Why risk that, right? So there's going to come like a break point, the guides are saying, when this population of workers says, yeah, no, thank you, I'm out. And then you have these red states who rely heavily on these workers going, wait just a darn minute, Mr. President. So it's not like they're all on the same team, because they're not. And that's where I think he's going to get restrained, and he's not going to be able to do the things he wants to do. It's not going to be as easy to take over this country as he thinks. Are the things that the government helps with going to break down, like regulations? Yes. And that is a big problem. Probably the biggest problem that we have is government regulations around travel. The guides warned me about that last week. And not only planes, but trains, everything. Everything that Pete Buttigieg made better, they're going to make worse. and also a lot of warnings around food safety, product safety. So right now, right, we have a lot of rules about product safety. Well, we don't need to have those rules anymore. And now corporations can make as much profit as they want. Go back to corporate responsibility and our role as not only citizens, but as buyers. We have so much power as buyers of products. And if we let them know we have a problem with you, they have a chance, these corporations have a chance to fix it before they fall off the cliff. Once they fall off the cliff, they kind of take us with them, unfortunately. That's why it's important to be very vocal right now. Let's give them a chance to fix their profit over people ways. They may choose to, they may not choose to, but at least we're doing what we can. We have so much power. If we don't do that and we say they deserve it, then fine. I'm not disagreeing with you, but they go over the cliff, and so do the workers that work for them, and so does everybody else in the chain that supports those workers. So, I get it. I'm not ordering from Amazon either, but who's that going to hurt? I mean, yeah, we need to take our medicine, basically, but you also need to be aware that there's consequences. So send social media posts, emails, everything to these corporations and say, I hope you're watching. I hope you're really watching your numbers closely, because I bet you're seeing less and less people buying. And I want to tell you why that is. And if enough of us send that warning to them, the reason we're not buying is because of your support of F47. The reason we're not buying is because we don't feel like you are giving us the quality for the money, or we don't trust your product reliability. If enough of us do that, the message is going to get to a high enough level where they're going to take some real steps to fix this before it goes over the cliff. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Maybe some companies do and some companies don't. But this is where we are. This is the whole reason for where we are. We cannot continue this the way we've been doing it. It's not supported. We can no longer treat humans this way. Period. End of story. And they can design all the robots, they can design all the AI, they can do everything they want. But nothing is ever going to take the place of a human being. Nothing. AI is brilliant, no doubt. But we are sentient. We have the ability to go, you know what? I think this climate change is going to affect me and I'm going to sell my house and move. Or I think I don't like this company. I'm not going to buy from them. Or we use AI ourselves to create ways to help us so that we don't even need to buy their product. We actually take their power from them. I don't need to buy your product anymore. And this is the God's honest truth, right? Look at Britannica. Look at encyclopedias, CDs, pretty soon computers. We don't need you. Look at NVIDIA, or however you say that, right? The new DeepSeek AI took out an entire software company that is the biggest company out there overnight. We don't need you, Mr. and Mrs. Corporation. Humans will be just fine. We will survive. You may not. And that scares the living daylights out of them. And that's why they want to control us. That's why they want to buy all the media so they tell us what we want to think and hear. That's why they want to rewrite the truth so we don't know the truth. Because truth destabilizes us. And then we go, wait a minute, these people are really not taking care of us. I hate to say it, but the guides are showing me the medical situation. At what point do doctors who take the Hippocratic Oath, at what point are they not really honoring the Hippocratic Oath to protect or to heal us? At what point do humans say, I think I'm going to tap into my own healing abilities. I'm going to take Reiki. I'm going to start using my own abilities to heal myself. We will outsmart them. We'll go around them. We're going to outlast them. You can build all the hospitals you want. In 5 years, humans are going to be healing themselves. Robot or no robot, don't care. So this is what they see coming, and it terrifies them. And that's why they're going to put the kibosh. They're going to crack down on tarot readers, psychics, mediums, healers. Believe me, it's coming. The second coming of the witch trials is coming. I'll take this moment to tell you that fortune telling, quote unquote, is literally illegal in certain states. You can be arrested. Okay? So, yeah, the truth is what scares them. And that's why they want to take it out of our textbooks. But they're not going to win. They're just not going to win. The real question is, how much do we win? Do they throw us a bone and we say, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, thank you so much, and we just accept that? Because this is an opportunity right now to have everything we want. This is an opportunity to get complete universal health care. This is an opportunity to get really strong regulations and laws around racism or misogyny. This is an opportunity to give reparations to those humans that have been harmed by our laws and the founding of our country. It truly is nothing less than the opportunity to get everything, to get not utopia, right? I'm going to tell you guys, you picked the wrong planet. I don't know why y'all keep thinking, but it ain't happening here. There's always going to be a balancing between light and dark, good and bad, up and down. When they fix gravity on this planet, women will be happy. Okay, that's all I got to say. But we got to deal with gravity. We're always going to be balancing. But this is an opportunity to move, to not let them just move us right of center, but have that pendulum swing all the way to the left. It really is an opportunity, because when all of this crashes and burns, there's a power vacuum. Do you remember when the guides kept talking about the power vacuum? There's a power vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. There's no space with nothing in it. Something will fill the space. Let it be us. Let it be us with our leftist, agenda, with our let's put humans first. Let's take care of our babies. Let's take care of our kids. Let's take care of the climate. Let's take care of the planet. Let's be good citizens of our communities, of our country, and of the world. Let's be respectable. Let's live in our heart. All of that is possible. And it's only possible because we see the truth of what's broken. Once we can face the truth, face the horrendous truth, then we can grieve it, we can cry it, we can ask for forgiveness. And yes, we can ask for forgiveness. And then we can allow the healing. And I do believe this is possible. I'm not telling you it's going to happen. I'm telling you it's possible. But it starts with you and me showing up in our own life, not giving F-47 our joy, not letting him have our life. Living in joy is resistance. Singing is resistance. Being happy is resistance. Having a party, having a get together, sharing food, breaking bread is resistance. Hiding in the corner, staying in your bed, being upset, getting sick, being depressed, being angry, that is giving in to them. That's feeding them. Let's not feed them. Let's celebrate those people that want what we want. And let's welcome on board those people who used to be our foes, our enemies. Let's welcome them on board. Welcome. You came from a life of anger and bitterness and sadness and blame. Now you're here with us and we're partying and having a good time. Yes, we're working hard, but we're also celebrating our life every day. That's how we win this. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll do more videos. Take really good care of yourself. Let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully, talking about the big picture helps you understand the big picture. I do want to get to your questions. I am going to get to your questions, but I just don't think they're yes or no questions. I think they're yes if or no but, right? It's more like that. And the more you know, right? Take really good care of yourselves. I do have a class coming up in a couple of weeks, in a month, in a month, the destiny of your soul, or your soul's destiny. It's $37. It's one day. It's with my good friend Afefe Tahimba, who is on YouTube under Touched by Tarot. She's an amazing tarot reader. Check her out, Touched by Tarot on YouTube. But anyway, I've got classes coming up. I've got an online community with 850 people. If you want to join us and speak your truth and be supported, we're there for you. You can find all that on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. And I will be having my 3rd annual Connect to Empower event. I am in the planning stages of that right now. I'll be announcing that in about 6 weeks. So I have a lot going on. I have doubled down on my life, actually. I'm telling you, I'm trying to walk the walk. I'm trying to expand my life. I am showing up in my life. I'm tired of giving up my joy, my sanity, my health for these expletive, okay, for these people. I am going to do everything I can to live 2025 in the best way possible for me. And my soul path is to help you. So I'm going to try to live 2025 in every way possible that I can to show up for you. That's why I'm doing more events. I'm doing more classes. I'm going to try to show up in a bigger way in my own life. And I hope in that way, somehow that helps you. And I hope in some way you go out and help someone else in whatever way that is. Let's all link arms. Let's all help each other. Let's all support each other. We are the people we've been waiting for. Take really good care of yourself. I'll see you really soon. For entertainment purposes only.